Welcome, everyone, back to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig, joined by Jeff, and today we got must-have auction draft players for you, which I have one. I just have one player. There's no parameters for this. This could be a $1 guy, could be a $60 guy. It doesn't matter. We have all kinds of. This is the guy you're going into the drafts, and you're like, you know what, I have to have this guy. And the best thing about auction drafts is you can make that happen. You might have to spend a little more than you want, but that's what I love about auction. If you have a guy you really, really, really love, you can get him. Except if me and Jeff have the same guy and Jeff tries to outbid me. One of us can't, but it could happen. So, Jeff, who's your guy?
All right, my reasoning behind this, there's a lot of top-end guys that I really like, but I'm going for the one that I'm leaving with because he's incredibly cheap, and I think he's too valuable for where he's going, and I'm going to get a potential top 10 wide receiver for practically nothing. And then I will get those other guys, but I think, honestly, I was very surprised. I looked at so many guys, and the guy that I ended up talking myself into was Deebo.
Really?
Deebo Samuel is the guy that I'm like, I am walking away with. He is just way too cheap. And I look at what the Commanders have put together, what Jaden Daniels is as a quarterback, how he became very, very good as a passing quarterback. And he's always that run dynamic kind of guy, but he doesn't actually have to score touchdowns for that to like pay dividends. And Samuel is really besides for McLaurin, who I do think that he's going to play, right? This is not me saying that Deebo is going to get all the things that goes away. I think he's going to play. I think he's still going to do what he does. I think Deebo is going to be the guy that not only soaks up a ton of receptions, and I think he's going to be able to get, close to 10 touchdowns receiving. I think they're also going to use him in the run game because Brian Robinson is fine, and Eckler is aging. I think that they're going to use him all over the field, and I think that he doesn't need to get quite as many targets as McLaurin in order to make that worthwhile. And going wild and thinking that he's going to return to like what he was in the 49ers, that's not what I'm saying, right? I want to make that perfectly clear. I'm thinking that like 2023, only a couple of years ago, where he was nearly 900 yards receiving with 7 touchdowns, and then you have another 200 yards with 5 touchdowns, somewhere in that ballpark. I think he'll make a little more in the receiving end, but I think he can do that, and that put him at the 7th wide receiver, right? So I think that kind of output gives me a back end wide receiver 1, and for practically nothing, because I think he's going for like $2 and currently in trends. I think he's probably, listed more like $5-6 in Fantasy Pros and whatnot. That is my long-winded way of saying he is the guy that I will leave with in every draft, because even if he goes for $10, $12, I'm like, he's well worth it. And they're paying him a lot of money. And besides from McLaurin, there's no one else. Like, no, I don't know. There's just not another viable option. Like
Zach Ertz at tight end.
And Ertz he was fine, but he soaked up a ton of stuff because he just happened to be a capable pass catcher. Mm-hmm. They don't really have anyone else. So anyway, that is the guy that I'm going for. Who's the guy you're going for?
Yeah, quick for that. Like for the price, that's amazing. Like I think it's a great pick. And Cliff Kingsbury's a good offense coordinator. He's going to make it work. Yeah. So, all right, my guy. I went wide receiver as well, and I keep gravitating towards this, and I just can't get away from it. And it's Marvin Harrison Jr. I just trying to figure this out because he was just one of the best wide receiver prospects we've seen in years. And I guess like I've said before, maybe he disappointed, but he disappointed only when you look at it for like extremely high expectations because of where he is. Because 62 catches for 885 and 8 touchdowns. The 8 touchdowns really, to me, even stands out. As a rookie, I love that. I don't see anything wrong with those numbers as a rookie. He didn't go insane like we've seen before, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. Wide receivers break out in year 2 or year 3. Yeah, last year we had Brian Thomas and you had Malik Nabers who were really, really good. So Marvin Harrison even seems more of a disappointment. But I just don't think he was a disappointment. I really, really don't. In ESPN, he's going for $15 when last year he was going in the 30s as a rookie before he did anything. He was good. This is a great player. He really is. man, I think this is going to be one of those that at the end of the year, you're just going to be kicking yourself because I could have got Marvin Harrison for like $20, maybe 15, $20, and he ends up as a top 10 wide receiver. I can see that happening easily. I could see him being a top 10 receiver. Honestly, I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver. I really do. Crap, I shouldn't talk like this, Jeff. You're going to go after him too.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's definitely on my short list.
I don't know. I have a good feeling about this one. I really do. It's the talents there. I'm not trying to find some guy that like coming out of nowhere. This guy was extremely good in college. I mean, his dad was really good. He has the pedigree. He had a good rookie year. He truly did. It's a good rookie year. But he also showed some flashes. He did have a couple really big games where you're like, okay, there's like, if he can start doing more of that, and I think he will. So I don't know. Marvin Harrison Jr., $15 to $20 range. If he goes for there, I think that is an absolute steal for me. So I think he's gonna really break out.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one. He's on my short list. I think that the amount of targets he can get can go up drastically, right? And we kind of saw it with Drake London, depending on where he's valued. And right now, I feel like he's probably valued accordingly. Like ESPN Live Trends has him, I think, going at like number 9, because at first I was looking at him as possible because he was in Fantasy Pros, he was $29, the 11th or 12th wide receiver, and for the amount of targets that he soaks up, which I believe was like nearing 150 if I remember correctly. 158 last year. Something like that. And obviously I don't think he's going to hit on 158, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. can get 20, 30 more targets than he did last year. And all of a sudden, and if his percentage goes up just a little bit where he's on the north side of 50, because I think he was right about there. I mean, it has a lot to do with Kyler. It has a lot to do with what's going on around him, but you don't put that kind of stock into a young wide receiver, not knowing you're going to just pump him the ball.
The Drake London things, that's like a perfect thing. Like people were down on Drake London after his first 2 years when he went. Similar numbers if you want to look at it. 72 for 866 was his rookie year with only 4 touchdowns. And the year before, then the next year was 69 for 905 and 2 touchdowns. That's what young receivers do a lot. Yeah. And then he broke out in 3. I'm just saying I think Harrison's going to do it in 2.
100%.
That's what happens a lot. They don't always have the Malik Neighbors million targets like he did. And like it just doesn't happen. And Brian Thomas was just a really good player. And then it's happened over time. But the Drake London type thing, that happens more often. But I think it's going to happen this year and year 2. And if it doesn't, just know Marvin Harrison's going to be my player next year too. Because it will happen. It's going to happen.
I laugh because at the price that we're saying right now, well, I think we've already talked about this in the past one, but you're buying him at floor.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That is what I absolutely love about him, because I think he has top 5 upside. Yeah, I really do.
I do 100%
if they give him the amount of targets that he would need. But if not, I think he could slip into the back end of wide receiver 1 as well, and not even doing anything crazy.
And we see it literally every year. Every year someone breaks into that. Every single year.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that too. And you really do you just need the amount of targets that is going to get you there. And I'll be honest, like I start looking at the top 10, right? And you have guaranteed guys. You have CD, you have Jefferson, you have Chase. Puka is going to get, just a ton of targets, so he's pretty safe. Brian Thomas, we've only seen it for a year. I hope, because I have him in Dynasty, that he continues on, but you're not sure. Nico Collins kind of came out of nowhere. I don't truly believe in that fully all the time. Amon-Ra is probably safe. A.J. Brown is on such a dynamic offense that everyone kind of wonders where he's actually going to fall as far as targets. Mm-hmm. And then you get to like Ladd McConkey and Tyreek Hill and, Drake London, Mike Evans. Like all of a sudden it is wide open. So why can't Marvin Harrison at least flirt with that line, if not jump up into that next?
Absolutely. It's going to happen. I truly think it'll happen this year. If it does, it will happen. It's going to happen. I've never been so sure about a pick like that. I just am. I know it's going to happen. So,
and I will say those are our guys that we're picking. There were so many running backs that I felt like I didn't have one above the other because I think there's so many.
There's a lot of value, but I think I just kept coming back to Marvin Harrison. That was my main one.
Yeah, it was hard for me not to go for a value pick because otherwise there's so many guys that you can grab.
I'll actually say my number 2 is Ricky Pearsall. So.
Oh, I love that. That
was my number 2. So
yep.
All right. That'll do it for this one. Talk to you guys next time.